I'll never forget it. The first day when I was released back in January of this year, January 16th, from San Quentin State Prison, and what it was like. I was picked up by my attorney, Mike Romano, from Stanford, and just getting inside of a car with him, it was different than the last time I was out inside of a van outside the prison. When the last time, that was the last year when I was taken to the hospital, and I was handcuffed and both my ankles and in my wrist. I was put inside of a van where I was enclosed in a cast iron door with no windows. But this was different. This time I was inside of a car with no my ankles or my wrists being shackled, and I was able to look outside of a window. One of the first places that my attorney took me was to the beach, and I appreciate it. And I remember that day, what it was like. It was raining that day. It was cloudy, and I remember standing on the sand and looking out towards the ocean, and for miles I could see nothing but water. And on the side it had a mountainous view, and I wasn't limited to how far I could look, whereas when I was in prison, I was limited. As far as I could see was to the walls. And I remember also, too, how I reached down and I grabbed some sand and I gripped it in my fist. It was like I got a new grip on a new life. And I remember the sounds of the roaring waves. It was so strong, it rattled my soul. That was a beautiful experience, and it was therapeutic to me. And I really enjoyed that scene. And I knew that from that day that there was going to be much more. And I really appreciate my attorney taking me out and allowing me to have that view. That was beautiful. Bring back memories. It's just like San Quentin really is. And just being here, standing here, as you bring back memory, it makes me appreciate my freedom. It lets me know this is the kind of situation I get myself into. And one thing CDCR is not concerned about, they're not concerned about your comfortability. Only thing they're concerned about is locking you away, putting you away for whatever reason, and even if it means life. And you just have to do the best with what you got. And that's what I learned to do. I learned to adjust, and I learned to do the best with what I got and to keep my sanity. What's important too is that having a TV or having a book to read keeps your mind occupied, to keep your mind off not only your enclosed environment, but it keeps your mind off any problems that you may be having too. Because if you're having family problems, any type of other personal problems, being inside of a closed environment like that can drive you crazy. So I'm what they call a three-striker, which means that I had 2 prior felony convictions before I had this 3rd conviction in '95. That's why I was sentenced 25 years to life. Back in '91, I was sentenced 7 years, 4 months in state prison. I served 4.5 years, and I remember during that time, those 4.5 years, my mind basically was on just getting out of prison, fighting to get out. I wasn't concerned about addressing my addictions, my drug addiction, my alcohol addiction. I wasn't concerned about gaining insight into why I was committing criminal acts. And I believe that if I had to put the effort back then during those 4.5 years like the effort I put into when I was at San Quentin in enrolling in those programs and gaining insight and learning empathy and sympathy and addressing my issues, then I probably wouldn't have went back to prison in 95 and received 25 years of life. And so that just shows the importance of these programs, and just shows the importance of gaining that insight. The insight is not only a lifesaver for me, but it's a lifesaver for the public too. I think we need to have more programs like this in state prison. Too many of the years, the emphasis has been on punishment, punishment, punishment. But now we're starting to see a trend where the public and even politicians start to focus on rehabilitation. I think that if we had more programs in the other state prisons like they had at San Quentin, then we'll see less people getting out of prison and coming back. And not just programs inside of prison, but even reentry programs. Reentry programs where people be able to have their criminogenic needs met, such as still addressing their alcohol and drug addiction, having jobs to go to, having transportation, having housing, learning the latest technology. All those things are important for a person's survival once they leave prison so that they won't come back. That's good for the person, and that's good for the public too. There's other men that didn't make it because they died. They died because of whether it be an overdose of drugs, whether it be a heart condition, a heart attack. Some were killed. So they no longer have the opportunity to see this. I wish that every man that's incarcerated had this opportunity right here. It's worth it.